Welcome to a book chapter review on transforming teaching and learning through data-driven decision-making. Chapter 3, Technology to Support Data-Driven Decision-Making, presented by Heidi Baine, Josh Tabor, and Bart Taylor. The focus question of the chapter: what kinds of technology do you have available to help you use data? Does your district or school have a data warehouse, an assessment system, other tools? Have you had any training on using these technologies? How accessible are the technology tools, and do you have easy access? Having a technology system in place to support data-driven decisions is a recommendation among experts. Testing data alone can only attest on the depth of skill and knowledge of a student's performance, but the use of technology can create an analysis from a variety of sources in order to lead to decisions to improve instructional practices. Schools that use technology from data systems, assessment systems, instructional management systems, data warehouses, and other emerging technologies can increase efficiency in data-driven decision-making. Data systems and analysis and reporting tools are proliferating and increasing in functionality in order to help educators individualize learning in efficient ways. There are four main types of data systems to provide access to student data for classroom teachers to use for instructions: student information systems, assessment systems, instructional management systems, and data warehouses. A student information system, or SIS, is a software application used by school districts to access and manage data. SISs use a unique identifier for each student. Typical applications include enrolling new students, creating class schedules, course and class management, entering and tracking attendance, accessing assessment scores, monitoring testing data, online gradebooks, health record management, discipline and incident reporting, and many of our day-to-day functions in a district. Assessment systems provide a dynamic use of assessments and provide data to inform ongoing improvements in instructional practices for student learning. They are based upon what a classroom teacher needs to evaluate student learning. Most systems are organized around learning standards to include item banks, lesson planning tools, curriculum mapping, pacing charts, and digital content resources for differentiated instruction. The primary focus of instructional management systems is to improve the instructional process. IMSs provide a connection between data and instructional supports such as curriculum resources, learning standards, staff communication, and home linkages. IMSs also provide an alignment and assessment data to create learning plans. A data warehouse is a repository of information for analysis and reporting. They enable users to store, integrate, and consolidate large historical volumes of data from a variety of sources. Diverse sets of data ensure compliance for accountability and allow for the monitoring of AYP. Some of the key benefits are promoting data quality with regular consistency checks, enabling data-driven decision-making, a shift from collecting to analyzing data, increased organizational efficiency, and it creates a constant reporting environment. Emerging technologies change every day, so let's see some current movements in technology for data-driven decision-making.
Virtual or online learning environments is a very structured learning environment, one that we're all obviously accustomed to at this point. What's really good about these types of environments is they are data driven. Teachers have to use the data to recognize the learning needs of their students and then kind of adapt their lessons to meet student needs. Also, what's good with this is that it does provide a feedback loop that, teachers are constantly evaluating and improving lessons that you don't get from your traditional classroom setting. There's a variety of benefits for online courses, one of which is it expands the options for students. They can take classes that maybe are not offered in their district, but they're interested in taking, such as maybe they want to learn Chinese. It's not offered in their district, so they can find an online course that's taught by a native Chinese speaker. So this allows accelerated students to even advance their coursework further. It also allows for homebound or hospitalized students to continue their work while unable to attend school. And then hopefully it can help students who maybe are the traditional dropout kind of group, migrant youth, maybe they're pregnant, maybe they're incarcerated. And this allows them to continue coursework towards high school graduation. Some of the online tools you will find today, starting with web-based tutoring. This one's relatively common, where a student can log in and they can receive tutoring from an expert from anywhere on the globe. This allows for a more student-centered approach so that it meets their individual needs. You also have computer adaptive testing, which I actually found to be fascinating. And this is a test where students will answer questions, and then based on their answers, the test will actually adapt itself to the student and their ability level. So I thought that was really cool, to be honest with you. Some other virtual tools you'll see: the Universal Design for Learning and Assessment. This is a concept for students who have learning disabilities and maybe current tests are not serving them properly. This allows for a variety of accommodations for special needs students, and digital media has actually been shown to really assist with these programs also. You have your technology-based assessment systems. These help teachers identify the deficiencies and then turn and assist in the learning issues. This provides some opportunity for continuous growth. And then you have vodcasting and assessment for learning, which vodcasting is the video on demand casting, where subscribers may subscribe to a particular vodcast, and then when something new comes out, it automatically downloads. These provide ways for teachers to kind of reach students at a different level, maybe through a social network medium as opposed to your traditional brick and mortar classroom. A few more tools: mobile learning and assessment, and this one I've actually done some research in, and it's about students using their own technology, whether it's a phone, a tablet, their own laptops, to increase their education. What's kind of sad about this is a lot of school districts are actually prohibiting the use of technology, which is how a lot of these students operate. This is also limiting their students because the numbers of dropouts are increasing because of the lack of rigor, relevance, engagement, and so on that they could be gaining through technology. Social-based learning and assessment is where students will join virtual communities and then teach each other. These are starting to grow more in popularity. And then visual data analysis tools allow teachers to actually see the data and manipulate it so that they can better gear their teaching towards what the students need. Up to this point, we've looked at how virtual schooling and virtual tools can help students, but they're really an asset to teachers. Tools like data dashboards can help show personalized growth plans for teachers, areas of weakness, areas they're focused on improving. Also, data from classroom observations can be generated in a manner that shows how teachers are satisfying predefined standards and templates that are set forward by their schools.
Statewide Longitudinal Data Systems, or SLDSs, were authorized in 2002. They are supported through the Center for Education Statistics. Currently, 41 states and the District of Columbia receive funding for their SLDSs. SLDSs were authorized to enhance the ability of states to efficiently and accurately manage, analyze, and use education data to increase student learning. They're to aid states, districts, and schools and teachers to make data-driven decisions in the pursuit of an increase in student learning. They also facilitate research to increase student achievement and close achievement gaps. The Data Quality Campaign is in charge of monitoring the statewide longitudinal data systems. They developed 10 essential elements that the state should follow when setting up their SLDSs. First, they should have a unique student identifier for each student. They should track student-level enrollment, demographic, and participation information. They should match individual student test scores records across the years. They should have information on untested students. There should be a teacher identifier system matching teachers to students, student-level transcript data and student-level college readiness scores, student-level graduation and dropout data. They should also have matching student P through 12 records with post-secondary systems. Finally, they should include a state audit system. The prevalence and participation of states has increased over the years. 24 states have all 10 elements, which is an increase from 12 in 2010 and 8 in 2008. In 2010, there were only 2 states had fewer than 5 elements, and 34 had 8 or more. In 2011, 5 states had 7 elements or more, and the remainder had 8 elements or more. So the funding in place and the support has encouraged states to participate in SLDSs. In 2011, the Data Quality Campaign, who monitor the SLDSs, added 10 key actions to the 10 essential elements. So now there are 20 things that states are looking to fulfill for their SLDSs. The Data Quality Campaign would like to see linked data systems. They would like states to create stable, sustained support. They would like to develop governance structures and build state data repositories. They would like states to implement systems to provide timely access to information and to create progress reports using individual student data to improve student performance. They would also like states to create reports using longitudinal statistics to guide system-wide improvement efforts. States should develop a P20 workforce research agenda. P20 is from preschool to completing 4 years of post-secondary. And to promote educator professional development and credentialing, and finally to promote strategies to raise awareness of the data that is already available. Of the 10 identified actions, 13 states have 6 or more of them achieved. 19 states have achieved only 3 or fewer. They use the SLDS to help identify school and district performance. States are also collecting financial data to help determine information about student achievement over time as it relates to finances. There are some issues connected with the SLDSs. Districts are gathering large amounts of data and sending it to the states. The states gain the most from this data, and the districts gain the least from the data. There needs to be a two-way data highway. The districts send the data, states receive it. States return data to the districts, parsed and mined and formatted so that it is meaningful and it has utility attached to it so the districts can actually use it for something practical. States should expand the data use beyond just compliance and accountability to the U.S. Department of Education. Some recent trends in the SLDS system through ARA funding is to include early childhood education data and to include higher education and workforce data. That's where the P20 comes from in the previous slides. There are concerns from other people about the SLDSs. There is some fear of too much federal and state oversight. The United States was founded on privacy and not a lot of federal government intrusion, and so this feels like a lot of federal intrusion. Many people also feel like too much data is not necessarily a good thing. So gathering all this data does make people uncomfortable. And finally, there are concerns about the Privacy and the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. Schools right now have to follow FERPA very closely, and they're concerned that all of this data collection may impose on some of the FERPA privacy guarantees. Some of the primary uses of the SLDS are to follow students' academic progress as they move from grade to grade. They can be used to determine value added and effectiveness of specific schools and programs. They can be used to identify consistently higher performing schools in order to learn from the best practices of those schools. They can also be used to evaluate the effect of teacher preparation and training programs on student achievement. And they can also focus school systems on student preparation for rigorous high school courses, for college, and for being successful in challenging jobs and careers. In order to take advantage of all the opportunities that SLDSs offer, useful data must be sent to the schools so that they can actually use it for something practical to improve school performance. We must find a way to share data across state lines because of the mobility of our students these days. We need to develop skill in data mining and usage so that we know what we're looking for and how we want to use it. We need to ensure that the results are easy to interpret by policymakers, by the public, and any other stakeholders that have an interest in it. Sometimes data is not easy to understand. Sometimes the way it's presented actually causes it to be misunderstood. We also need to create interoperable systems so that the information can flow from one system to another, from one state to another. This would assist us in actually using the data in a practical manner. These are some policy questions that Mandenack and Jackson suggest can be addressed by SLDSs. How well do high school exit requirements align with post-secondary entrance requirements? What characteristics of high school graduates, including courses taken, predict post-secondary success? If we spread the SLDS time period to P through 20, you would see that data collecting from post-high school to post-secondary, and you can see what classes the students took and which students were successful in college. Which students require remediation in core subjects upon entering college? Once again, that extra data of P through 20 allows you to look at the students, what they took in high school, and then look and see if they took remediation courses in college. So you can go back and look at the high school courses to see if there are changes you can make. What are the career paths of college graduates upon departing from community colleges and universities? How does programmatic spending relate to students' achievement? That would come from the financial data that states and districts are beginning to collect on finances and student success rates. And what is the return on our investment? We do want to make sure that we're spending our money wisely. The main benefits of SLDSs and data-driven decisions based on them are increased efficiency at all levels of education organizations, all the way from policymakers to the classroom teacher. Because of our mobile populations, the ease of transferring student records and transcript data from system to system is supported by interoperable systems. In order to support these benefits, educators need quality professional development in data usage. Educational organizations need access to quality technology systems. These systems should be designed for educational uses specifically. Stakeholders must be involved. Technology should be leveraged to engage students in learning. Appropriate assessment should be developed via technology applications, and time should be provided for us to develop the data capabilities that are opening up before us.
On a personal note, virtual schools are something that I'm actually looking into researching more for my ROS. It's fascinating because virtual schools are now becoming economically sound ventures, so you're starting to see more business creeping in to this school industry. You see that especially in the growth of charter schools. What is a benefit is online learning is kind of revolutionizing what we do. Obviously, we're all exposed to that in what we're doing, but it also allows us as educators to gear the lesson that we're teaching more towards students individually, where we can have our kids that are advanced go further. We can have our kids that need remediation, do some extras here and there. And there's so much to pull from that we can do this without, kind of going crazy trying to help every kid and just losing our minds, being overwhelmed. But this is an industry that is growing, and I'm really excited to see where it's going.
As I read through this chapter and thought about the meaning of all of this information, the thought came to me that data and data analysis hold the focus of education policymakers as they try to reform the American education system. As we become more skilled at mining and parsing data, I hope that we do not lose the human connection. Experienced teachers can read their students' body language and make judgments about their learning from it. Data can inform and guide, but it cannot replace the effect of the heart and soul of a dedicated teacher.
Because of new and emerging technologies that happen on a daily basis, the world of data-driven decision-making is increasing. Software, computers, computer networks, access speeds, and the cloud technologies are creating a world that is not only data-driven, but technology-dependent. This is a scary thought to me. Archiving data is an essential function. However, electronic archiving is still unstable, although we would want to believe that it's not. There is power in data-driven decision-making. However, there is more power in educators that can enhance instruction with more than just data. Data is merely a tool that quality educators utilize, but it's not the complete piece of the puzzle. Computers can't evaluate the emotions, the experience, inspiration, and the heart that a teacher can put into a lesson. At least not yet.